What's up guys, David here from Phone Buff, and when you look at the iPhone 5s and the Galaxy Note 3 side by side, you can easily tell that they are two very different devices targeted at different groups of people. But yet, when you look at the iPad Air and the Galaxy Note 10.1, which are both kind of just bigger screen versions of their smartphone counterparts, the difference between them isn't anywhere near as glaring, and that's because with their tablets, both Apple and Samsung are targeting a more similar demographic within that 10-inch tablet space. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the tablets themselves are any more similar to one another than the smartphones, because in many ways the opposite is actually true. So in this video, and in typical Phone Buff fashion, we're going to be looking at 10 advantages that each of these tablets has over the other, and hopefully by the end you'll have a much better idea as to which tablet is the best one for you. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so the first advantage the iPad Air has over the Note 10.1 2014 edition is its better overall performance. While the spec sheet would have you believe that the Note 10.1's beefy quad-core processor and 3GB of RAM could easily outperform the iPad Air's dual-core A7 chip with its 1GB of RAM, this isn't really the case. While actual in-app performance is similar on both tablets, switching in and out of those apps or just navigating throughout the UI in general is much smoother and much more responsive on the iPad, with the Note stuttering and lagging from time to time. But that doesn't mean the Note 10.1's high-end specs don't make a difference. In fact, because it has 3 times the amount of RAM, the Note 10.1's first advantage over the iPad is its impressive multitasking ability, which allows you to use 2, 3, or even 4 apps on the screen at the same time, which really takes advantage of the extra screen real estate and can help reduce how often you have to switch back and forth between those apps in the first place. 2. Now, speaking of apps, while Android is quickly catching up, as of right now, iOS still has more tablet optimized apps available, which is a clear advantage for the iPad Air, but Samsung does counter with an advantage of its own, which is the single biggest thing that separates the Note 10.1 from the iPad, or just about any other tablet for that matter, in the S Pen. Simply put, the S Pen is what makes the Note 10.1 live up to its name, giving you the best note-taking experience available on any tablet. 3. On the subject of living up to its name, the iPad Air's significantly lighter weight makes holding the tablet for long periods of time, whether you're browsing the web or watching videos, much easier and less cramping on your hands than on the Note 10.1. Now, while the Note 10.1 can't really counter the iPad's lighter weight directly, it does come with the advantage of having an IR blaster, allowing you to control your TV right from the tablet so you can conveniently manage what you watch on the big screen. 4. But the IR blaster isn't the Note 10.1's only multimedia advantage. Its higher resolution screen with its 16:9 aspect ratio makes for a better video experience on the Note than on the iPad, where the iPad's 4:3 aspect ratio results in a bunch of letterboxing that effectively turns that 9.7-inch screen into a smaller 8.7-inch screen, which, needless to say, isn't ideal for video. But not all is bad with the iPad's aspect ratio. In fact, the advantage of having a 4:3 ratio is that it makes for a better and roomier portrait experience that's great for browsing the web or using apps. And combined with the more realistic colors on the Retina display, the iPad Air screen still offers a great overall experience. 5. Since we're still talking about it, the other advantage the Note 10.1 has in the multimedia department is its speakers. Now, both the iPad Air and the Note 10.1 have loud and great sounding stereo speakers, but because both of the iPad speakers are located at the bottom, you don't really get that stereo effect. On the Note 10.1, on the other hand, you do get the effect with a speaker placed on each side, which is just a better, smarter design. But of course, when it comes to overall design, well, that advantage goes to the iPad Air with its premium aluminum body with just amazing attention to detail that the Note 10.1's polycarbonate or plastic body can't really match. 6. While your purchasing decision may not and honestly should not be based off a tablet's camera, I'm still going to cover it here for you guys. So when it comes to the cameras, the two tablets are split. The higher resolution 8-megapixel rear camera with LED flash is an overall better performer than the iSat camera on the back of the iPad, mainly due to the flash more than anything else. But the front-facing camera is a bit better on the iPad despite having a slightly lower resolution, so it really comes down to if you prefer taking selfies or taking pictures in really low light where a flash is handy. 7. Unlike smartphones, tablets aren't as personal of devices and often get shared with friends and family, so the 7th advantage the Galaxy Note 10.1 has over the iPad Air is its support for multiple user profiles. Similar to how you can set up different accounts for different people on a computer, you can do the same thing with the Note 10.1, with each member of the family being able to make their own little space with their own wallpapers, their own apps, etc., keeping everyone's stuff separate and a little bit more private. Now, while the iPad Air can't necessarily directly counter this advantage, at least for right now, it does have the advantage of being able to be used by you, your friends, and your family for a longer period of time, with its battery lasting anywhere between 1 and 3 hours longer, depending on the type of usage. 8. Another advantage the iPad Air has over the Note 10.1 is its tablet-friendly gestures. Want to quickly switch between apps? Just swipe across the screen with all 5 of your fingers. Want to return to the home screen? Pinch those same 5 fingers in. Want to go back a step? Simply slide 1 finger across the screen. Gestures like these can make navigating the OS just a little bit faster and more convenient, and is a really nice feature to have. Of course, when it comes to features, Samsung's Galaxy Note has more than enough to counter. Things like Smart Stay keep the screen on as long as you're looking at it, and TouchWiz's motion controls offer a few gestures of its own, like taking a screenshot by simply swiping your palm across the screen. 9. Year in and year out, the iPad is always a popular choice among consumers, and because of that, it has the advantage of having a larger selection of accessories available as more and more third-party manufacturers try to cash in on the iPad's market share. But an advantage the Note 10.1 has that just may cancel out some of those third-party accessories is its OTG support, which allows you to easily connect your own USB peripherals like a keyboard or a mouse with a simple OTG cable that can cost less than $10, which could potentially save you some good hard cash on accessories. 10. Speaking of cash, the entry-level 16GB iPad Air will run you a cool $500, while the same entry-level 16GB Galaxy Note 10.1 sells for $550, making the iPad Air, much to many people's surprise, $50 cheaper. However, the Note 10.1 does have an advantage that can make up for this price difference in that it has an expandable microSD card slot, so if you need more than just 16GB of storage, an additional 64GB would cost you less than $50 on the Note, whereas on the iPad, going with the 64GB model will cost you an extra $200, so it really does depend on your storage needs. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for me in this comparison. At the end of the day, both of these tablets do a lot of the same things, so if you're just looking to go on Facebook, browse the web, and play some games here and there, you can't really go wrong with either. But because these tablets are so different, one of them is most likely a better fit for you than the other, so hopefully this video has helped you figure out which one that is. Anyways, if you found the video helpful, that like button is sitting down below, and maybe more importantly, there's also that subscribe button which will ensure that you'll be among the first to get more mobile technology videos from me just like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the very next video.